everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for joining me today. So today is really part 2 about learning intentions and not sharing learning intentions, but a lot of questions have come up in our community about what we do share and what do we do when there's a school requirement or even a government requirement to actually share your objectives on the board. So today I'm going to be addressing quite a few of those questions that have come up, and if you're interested, then please keep on watching. Okay, so some really excellent questions have come up about if we don't share learning intentions, then how do we actually overcome requirements from either the government or the school board or even the school, as they specify that we have to actually share objectives with our students so that they know the direction of their learning. In my opinion, objectives are probably different to learning intentions, and it depends how we actually define all these different terms. So for me, a learning intention is what we want students to deeply understand on a conceptual level and what we want them to learn. So in terms of a learning intention being a conceptual understanding, we don't want to rob students of arriving at those deep conceptual understandings. And we use careful scaffolding, the inquiry-based learning process to be able to help students to arrive at deep conceptual understandings. Now, for me, an objective is a little bit different. So I consider lesson objectives more focused on the facts and skills. So facts and skills require very low-level thinking. They don't require any high-level thinking, but they are necessary because they provide a foundation for conceptual understandings. So Lynn Erickson, my mentor, she talks about a curriculum and instruction design model that is three-dimensional, and that includes facts and skills as the foundation in order to be able to build conceptual understandings. If your school requires you to put lesson objectives on the board at the beginning of every lesson, and I know this is common practice in the UK, for example, and I know that also teachers are required to share objectives and their unit plans with parents in their LMS. So if you're required to do that, I suggest that you just share objectives that are facts and skills. And these normally can be drawn from the standards that you follow. So as an example, if you follow the Common Core standard, if you read through a lot of the Common Core statements, they are actually written as facts or skills. So let me give you an example. Let's say that we want students to be able to solve a linear equation. You know, that's basically a skill. So when a student is able to solve a linear equation, that doesn't necessarily mean that they deeply understand how to interpret what that solution means and the different concepts of linearity, a function, solutions to that linear function. So if you do have to share objectives, or you are required to put down your learning intentions, which I'm going to call objectives, on the board at the beginning of the lesson, then I would then just share the low order facts and skills that you're going to be covering. So as another example, you could be saying, well, today we're going to learn about the quadratic formula, but what does that actually mean? You're not actually robbing them of any understanding. And in fact, it's so low level. So saying that you're going to be looking at a formula doesn't necessarily rob them of the deep understanding of what that formula means and the concepts that are involved. And I was reading some of the other responses and ideas of what we can share if we're not sharing learning intentions. And another suggestion was that, well, why don't we just share what problem-solving strategies we're going to be trying to nurture and develop with our students. So for example, you know, making conjecture, or testing and trialing. So sharing any of those strategies and skills that lead to those more complex mathematical processes, I think is really important to share, because you want your students to be able to know that they're developing these particular strategies and skills in order to be able to problem solve, or to reason and prove, or to make connections, or to be able to communicate their understanding in terms of mathematics. I hope that that does answer some of the questions about what do we share if there are school boards, if there are schools and governments that require you to share objectives. Yes, let's share objectives. Let's share those low-level facts and skills, but Let's design engaging, wonderful, exciting learning experiences that lead and guide students to arrive at their own deep conceptual understandings themselves and give them opportunities to articulate and communicate those deep understandings in their own words. So thank you so much for joining me this week, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.